When we talk about the African continent, it's easy to imagine tropical jungles full of exotic animals or vast, dusty deserts with nothing for hundreds of miles. Africa is the second largest continent in the world, spanning 12 million square miles, from the Mediterranean in the north all the way down to the 30th parallel in the southern hemisphere. Near the southern tip, it's not anywhere near the same as what we think of when we think of Africa at large. On the Cape, it's more like southern France or maybe even northern California. When the Dutch pioneer Jan van Riebeeck first arrived here in 1652, it was already known that South Africa had a climate that was conducive to wine. As an employee of the Dutch East India Company, he brought French grapes with him to set up an outpost along the spice trade route. To be sure, South Africa has its fair share of dry desert, but on the coast, where the South Atlantic and the Indian Oceans converge, it's mild. Oceans almost always moderate the climate of an area, and being so close to Antarctica, the cooler currents swirl up and influence the region. In fact, South Africa actually gets snow and even has ski resorts. The coastal region is relatively low in elevation and backed up by a mountain range, which serves to take the cool air coming off of the ocean and hold it in place. And for that reason, the narrow southern coastal strip receives year-round rainfall. With an average summer temperature of just 72 degrees Fahrenheit and concentrated sunlight, you can see why this area is so perfect for growing wine grapes. And while this narrow strip of green along the Cape only represents 2% of all the world's grapevines, it produces enough wine to make South Africa number 8 out of the top 10 producers in the world. As in other parts of the world, elevation plays a major role in South Africa, and winemakers plant their vines on the foothills in order to take advantage of the cooler temperatures and also get the best sun exposure possible. South Africa has several different types of soil, from sandy clay to granite, and this determines what types of grapes will get planted, but by and large, the major French grapes like Cabernet Sauvignon, Merlot, Syrah, Chardonnay, Sauvignon Blanc, and this one, Chenin Blanc, all thrive in this region. The defining quality of South African wines seems to be their crisp, bright acidity. Whether white, red, or even sticky sweet, they all exhibit a bracing freshness that just makes you salivate. In the wine world, finding a place that combines all of those perfect conditions is quite rare. Out of 12 million square miles, just 238,000 acres are conducive to making world-class wine. And that's what makes South Africa such a rare gem. And that's why I encourage you to check their wines out. Thanks so much for drinking with me today. I hope you learned something. And of course, if you want more quick sips videos like these, be sure to subscribe to the WTSO YouTube channel. I'll see you for the next wine adventure. Cheers.